Welcome to the 911 Carrera T. We're here in Austin, Texas for the World Endurance Championship with Porsche Penske, and Porsche was kind enough to lend me this 911 Carrera T for the week. So for the past 3 days, I've been enjoying driving this thing literally all over Austin, Texas. What's really cool is Circuit of the Americas, which is where WEC is currently happening, is all through twisty and turny roads, and I've really gotten to enjoy the Carrera T. Now, this really couldn't have been more perfect timing because, as you guys know, we've been currently looking at our next car after the Cayman. I honestly had no thoughts about the 911 Carrera, and this has completely opened the door for me, and I am so excited. Since we have a little bit of free time, I knew I wanted to come out and give you guys my initial thoughts, my first impressions, and see what you guys think as well, because previously we went over to West Coast Exotics, got to see a GT3. You guys know my thoughts about the F430 Ferrari, and of course, right now we have the Cayman GTS. Now, the Carrera T is one of the newer models in the lineup, but spec'd really nicely. Very much a driver's car. Let me show you guys why. And this is just a couple of the reasons here. Now, this specific model has been spec'd with the carbon bucket seats, which are fantastic. It comes standard with a 7-speed manual, but you can option it with the PDK. And also, the Carrera T comes standard with no rear seats, which again, you can option to put rear seats in if you like, but standard, no rear seats. Also, the 992 Carrera T comes with a twin turbo 6-cylinder, making 370-ish horsepower, which feels awesome. Especially paired with that 7-speed manual, it's very, very good. Since having this for the past week, it has really opened up the door for me for the 992 to potentially replace the Cayman. As you guys know, I was thinking about the 991. Now I'm not so sure if I want to do a 991 GT3 or hop into a 992 Carrera T. Let's go for a drive and let me show you why. Again, welcome to the 992 Carrera T. Now, quick recap for any of you guys that may have not watched the previous video. We just got done rebuilding a wrecked Cayman GTS, and that is my first modern Porsche, and I absolutely love to drive that thing. Now, the whole goal was to step into that car, and it was my entryway into something bigger and something better. The GTS is fantastic, but the ultimate goal is to obviously be in a 911, and my first choice was that 911 GT3. Now, previously, we went and looked at a GT3, and I also expressed that I really wanted to do a Ferrari F430, and what would kind of be better to suit me and to suit the channel and have fun in. Now, since we've been here with Porsche for the World Endurance Championship and I've been able to drive this 992 Carrera T, again, it has opened up a completely new door for me. I never expected to want to hop into a base 911, and even a 992 I thought was pretty much out of my price range, which is also why I'm not going for like a 992 GT3. But driving this around for so long has been fantastic. Now, let me explain why. Again, I showed you guys this car comes standard 7-speed manual, which you can option a PDK. Also, rear seat delete, which again, if you would like, you can option rear seats in the car. And also, probably one of the coolest facts, carbon buckets. This is my first time actually being in the carbon buckets for an extended period of time, driving this thing around Austin to Circuit of the Americas and around some of the back roads. They are fantastic. Now, why I'm comparing this to a 991 GT3 is purely because it's around the same price. Now, I can get a GT3 991 generation for around the same price as I can get this Carrera T. Why it's such a big deal is because I can step into that 992 generation with hopes of eventually moving up into the 992 GT3. Now, the real question is, do I want the Carrera T or do I want to be in that GT3? Now, as a car guy, enthusiast, motorsports fan to my core, everything tells me the GT3. But hopping into this 992 Carrera T, you almost have a lot of the niceties that you get from the GT3, being the bucket seats. You can option with the carbon roof, the rear seat delete, and you're in a 911, which feels amazing. But you have all of the amenities of a brand new 992 car. So we have the Apple CarPlay, we have a 7-speed manual transmission. It is really great. But again, the GT3 being the top of the line 911 generation, it is really, really good. So I don't want to talk too much about the 911 GT3 because this is more about the Carrera T. So the Carrera T comes with that twin turbo 6-cylinder, which makes around 370 horsepower. It feels awesome. I mean, through the back roads, it's got some pep and it sounds great. Funny enough, we're still in normal mode. We can switch this thing over to a Sport Plus mode, open those valves up and get some nice noise. Ooh, the auto rev match is really nice with the 7-speed. Let's see if we can open her up a little bit. Oh man, once you get to that 6,000 and 7,000 RPM range, all the induction noise kicks in and you can really feel that 911 engine scream, which is awesome. Now, granted, the 991 3.8 naturally aspirated engine is fantastic and gives you all the noise that you want. Again, this 992 Carrera T gives you that excitement as well, maybe on a different level. This 992 Carrera T is the everyday, everyman's sport car enthusiast car. This is an easy car to get into for that entry-level 911 owner. And again, you have all the amenities of a brand new car. And that's what I have to think about as well. I'm going to be driving this car all the time. And granted, you guys know, for those of you that watch the channel, I love my stinky old JDM cars. I love my vintage Porsche. So I'm okay with not having the amenities. But after being in this car, it's just so good. And the front end is light. It has that rear engine, rear wheel drive feel through these twisty turns in the corners. I mean, the car just hugs the road. It is so much fun to drive. Oh, and through the elevation change too, it just feels planted. You have all confidence going through any corner in the road, which is awesome. I'm going to be driving this car all the time, and what I love about it is it has everything that you would want in a car that you would daily drive, right? I mean, probably the most enticing thing for a daily driver is going to be that wireless Apple CarPlay, which you guys know in the 991.1s, you don't even get CarPlay. You don't really have it. I mean, it's very similar to my Cayman now, where the technology is just outdated. But that brings up the argument, why are you getting a GT3? You're not getting it for the tech, you're getting it because it's a GT3, and that's where I'm stuck at. Honestly, the GT3 is above the 992 for me right now, but I'm curious to see what your opinion is on this. I mean, stepping into the 992 pushes me further, and if you look back at the cars I have now, I started out in a 911 Super Carrera, an 83 911 Super Carrera. Stepped in then, rebuilt a Porsche Cayman GTS, which, fantastic by the way. It almost feels like the progression here would be the 992 Carrera T. That's like almost the next modern step from my Super Carrera, from the Cayman. I'm stepping from a modern Cayman into the most modern 992 911, which then could progress into the 911 GT3, or we just full send and go GT3 all the way. Might not be as comfortable on the road for driving every day and might not have all the amenities that this beautiful T has, but it's a GT3. Now, let's talk about one of the nitpicky things I have about the Carrera T. I mean, I feel like the GT3, no matter if you're inside, outside, where you're at, the GT3 sounds like a GT3, and it is the Lord's noise. You know, it's the Lord's exhaust. It is perfect. The GT3, the 3.8 out of that 991 GT3 is fantastic. One of the nitpicky things I have about this Carrera T is from the outside, the car sounds okay. It's all right. It definitely could use an exhaust or a little bit more oomph. Obviously, those turbos are going to quiet the exhaust down, but again, on the interior of this car, it's got it. The induction noise, the cabin noise. it's got it for sure. Again, the car drives so well on these back roads. But that's a nitpicky thing. The styling of the 992 is what really, really draws me to this car. I love the single rear taillight, the clean styling of the body. It really keeps that Porsche essence, but again, just makes it more modern. The back end of this car is what I really, really love. I would love if this car had the front end of the modern 992 GT3 as well, without the big wing on the back, and like the new 911 Sport Classic. But again, this is far from that. So what I can boil it down to is the 911T is for the everyday sports car enthusiast. It's a 911 to its core. It drives like a 911. You feel like you're driving a 911. It's fantastic. The 911 Carrera T is a street car with the rawness from the 911 that you've known to love. The 991.1 GT3 is a race car at heart, and it does what it's meant to do really, really well, and you know what you're buying. So the question is, where do I go from here? What do we do? I want your opinion. Do you guys like the 992s? Would you like to see content on a 992 Carrera T, like the twin turbo 6-cylinder? I mean, it's something a little bit different as well that you don't see as often as a GT3, or do we just send the GT3? Now, one thing I should add before we end this here is I have not had the opportunity to drive a 991.1 like I have had to drive this Carrera T. So I can't attest to the car on the street. I have driven a 991.2 GT3 on the track, and it was fantastic. It's exactly what you would expect from an RS, a GT3 RS car. From the street, I can't give you as much info, but I do know this 911 Carrera T is fantastic. The buckets are great. It's a fun car to drive. It's comfortable, and it has everything you want from a car that you're going to drive every day. So, if anything, this just made my decision so much harder whether to choose between the F430, the 991.1 GT3, or the awesome 992 Carrera T. And I'm really curious to see what you guys think. Let's give her some stuff. Oh, giving her the beans. It's just, it wants to do this. It wants to go around the curves. It wants you to pull it through that 6,000-7,000 RPM range. That's where you get all the excitement. You can feel the high-end torque here. It's not NA, but it's good. And I couldn't help myself. We're taking the R34 GTR out. As soon as we get back, get some sleep, we're taking the R34 GTR out for its first Cars and Coffee. It's been an exhausting week, but I couldn't help myself. Cars and Coffees today, we just finished the wheel setup, got this thing nice and dialed in. I had to take it out. Plus, we got the whole squad here. If you guys can, I don't even know if you guys can see that, but we've got some friends cruising along with us. It's gonna be a good morning. I thought I'd just take you guys along. It'll be a lot of fun. The first ever Cars and Coffee in the R34 GTR here in America. And again, I just want to document everything with this car. So cruising with everybody right now, and go check out Cars and Coffee this morning. Looking good, dude.
I wanted to come here to see the GTR, cars, and toge.
Oh, that's sick, dude. Love it, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate the support, dude.
Yes, sir. Awesome, bro. I can't even believe like it's here. After watching all the videos, seeing it in Japan,
it's crazy, right?
Everything it's gone through, like the engine being pretty much one of one in America. Like I don't think anyone else has it. I don't know.
That's cool.
It's unbelievable.
I still can't believe it, man.
And
Thank
also,
you.
like,
we made it. Welcome to Cars and Coffee. Still a surreal feeling seeing everybody appreciate the car, and got here for 2 minutes and was just like blown away. This is such a surreal, you guys are gonna hear me say this in every video with the R34. I cannot believe it's here. It is such a surreal feeling. Like it feels like it should be in Japan, but we're just here in America. But I think the coolest part is getting to talk to all of you guys on the memories that we've made in Japan and just go over everything that we did in Japan and talk to you about it here with the car actually here. So here at Cars and Coffee, gonna hang out, see some cool cars, and just enjoy having the GTR in America. Sheesh. Might be one of my favorite cars here right now. Little 4AG action. Is this thing built? Looks kind of built.
A little bit. Got some cams. So
cams, ITBs. I miss my 8.6 so bad, man. This thing is sick. So this one's a hatch. I would really like a coupe. So it's got a lot of good bits on it. The Watanabe wheels. This thing's pretty fire. Poor man, love the sticker, love the shirt.
Look on the back.
Oh my man, fire. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much, man. This is awesome, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
And that's a wrap for our first Cars and Coffee in the R34 GTR. Even the smallest moments like this make for the best memories in this car, and every little thing.